And let's kind of get started with our normal thing. Let's do the old COVID update. Here's the thing. Here's the thing I'm kind of seeing. Basically, it's we're still here. It's still working. I put a couple of screenshots over here of some things. There have been no spikes, and it's been 2 weeks. So if there were going to be, you would think that if there were going to be spikes directly related to the visitors arriving, that we would have had those spikes. But if you look at that epidemic curve over there, it's pretty much been flat, which has been great. A couple of other news: Hawaiian Airlines, they've announced that they're going to be they are doing drive-through testing in San Francisco. You got to go to the Hawaiian Airlines website to get more information, and they're going to be having they're going to be adding more cities with this drive-through testing. So everyone's starting to ramp up. In fact, I saw story a couple days ago about United is ramping up their testing big time. So it looks like the airlines, who clearly have an interest in making sure that people are safe, are all kind of seem to be ramping up, not just for Hawaii, but really around the world. A couple of other updates over there. You see, well, let's talk real quick. Maui, the islands are all changing, and I want to get some feedback from you all around the table over here. Maui's got voluntary post-arrival testing. I believe it's free. Big Island had quarantine, but now you can skip quarantine if you're part of the whole program that we talked about at our last episode. So it looks like things are going along well. One thing that I wanted to point out was, look at that graph of mask wearing. Hawaii has a really high take-up rate in mask wearing, and we should talk about I've got some cultural explanations why I think that's the case. But anyway, Hawaii's got a very high mask raising. People are commenting that when they come over here, everyone's wearing their mask, which is, I guess, not the case usually on the U.S. mainland. Got the real quick theory on the hospital. Looks like our capacity is all good. We're not kind of hitting those high numbers that I've seen some stories of some hospitals, at some places around the world or the country are hitting capacity nowhere near that here. So everything looks good. So really quick, Dylan, is there anything you want to add? What's this sort of feeling like on the Big Island as it relates to the COVID thing?
So the one thing that's kind of a little bit confusing for folks, so it's different on the Big Island than the other islands. So just like all the islands, you do have to get the pre-COVID test from a certified provider within 72 hours of travel. But then when you land here at the Kona airport, you have to do a secondary test, and that's a rapid test that they have set up, and the county provides that. There's no additional cost. And I've talked to about 10 different clients and friends that have come in over the last couple of weeks that have gone through this process, and everyone pretty much universally reports that it's a pretty efficient and well-run process. It does take about 30 minutes to an hour after you land to go through the process. So it does delay your, getting your rental car or leaving the airport a little bit, but it's a pretty much straightforward process where you get off, you get your things and you answer a questionnaire, you go through the testing center, and then you get your results, and then you're good to go and you don't have to quarantine. So people have been happy with that have gone through it.
So basically, if you go through that, again, that whole Hawaii Safe Travels kind of application that we talked about at our last show, you do that, you arrive in the Big Island, you do a quick test, it's free, and you get the rapid test, and you're kind of good to go, basically.
Yep.
Excellent.
No need
excellent.
for quarantine.
Excellent. Heidi, what's the feeling like on Maui? Is there anything is there any news or tidbits going on that's related to the COVID thing?
Well, I just wanted to mention Lanai, which is a separate island, but it's part of Maui County. They had 0 COVID cases for a long time. And then all of a sudden recently, there's been a spike in COVID cases, and that island is shut down, stay-at-home orders right now because it's just really small, really remote. I mean, they want to protect the health of the people that are there. Now on Maui, ever since the 15th, I mean, we've definitely been getting busier. I hear, I would expect spending a little bit more time in the airport getting through everything, but I mean, there's definitely people coming here, and it's kind of exciting to have visitors back. And there's kind of a good feeling with people getting back to work and, getting a little bit more back to normal. I don't know.
The vibe is returning. We had a quick shout out here from Chad Eddie. Hello there, Chad. Aloha back to you. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us, Scott. You're pretty close to Waikiki over there. Have you seen? Are the beaches still empty? Are they crowded? How's it feeling? And whatever else you want to add about COVID on Oahu.
Yeah, Yeah, I've actually picked up a couple of clients down in Waikiki, and they've been here for several months in Waikiki and saying how much they enjoyed walking around and not having anybody around. She says, wow, we really noticed the number of people coming back, but it's nowhere near where the numbers where we were before. So it's definitely picked up, which is good to see. I actually had a client come through San Francisco and do the United testing. And the interesting thing that he said, I said, how was it? And he said, it was easy. But the problem is the actual healthcare center or the health center that they have in the airport that you think that you would go and get the test from, that's not state approved. So by the state of Hawaii. So therefore he had to go to the center that's a mile away from the airport. So he physically had to leave the airport, go a mile away, get the testing done, come back to the airport. He had left himself a 5-hour layover window just in case to see how this went. He said it was very smooth, but in fact, he did have to leave the airport to go get that test done. I had another buddy who came through from Seattle here to the Big Island. And he says, as long as you have your stuff together and it's in order, he says, it's pretty efficient. They do a really good job. So in fact, they were even, because there was some confusion, he said they were even taking some test results by the non-approved places here in the beginning until they kind of got things settled out.
So yeah, so it really, the moral of the story here is, do your planning, make sure you got all the details. Again, if you look at the previous show, I pretty much laid that out and everything. Take a look at all the details, and you're gonna do along good. This is great. So hey, we got let's see here. Oh yeah, see Heidi, your fans are happy that you're back. Scott from Aloha from the Lone Star State. Good to see Heidi back representing the Valley Isle. Absolutely, Scott. We're totally glad. And I've got Scott covering Scott. Oh, that's kind of cool. There's Scott's. Anyway, okay. Well, whatever. Geeking out here. Sorry, gang. All right, excellent. The general feel is that it just seems that I think we're very sensitive, here in Hawaii about kind of government officials having their act together. We've had a couple of embarrassing stories over the past year or so. The missile alert and all this kind of stuff where we kind of know incompetence when we see it. And I must say, it feels like they've kind of got their act together. There's a couple of hitches here and there, but it seems like they've sort of got their act together, which is wonderful. Everyone's really happy about that. So this is the time. In fact, my wife was mentioning the other day, she goes, this is really the best time to come, like right now, because like Scott, right, those beaches are still basically empty. There's nobody there, right? It's a handful of people there, but they're empty. So this is the time.
Well, yeah, and in 2 weeks, I'm going to do a staycation here at one of the hotels because they're offering such good kama-aina rates. So I'm kind of interested to see how that kind of setup is and arrangement is.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting. Joyce, we've gone to Hapuna before and after state opening and went from empty to pretty crowded last Sunday. I'm worried more about this. And yeah, Joyce, you hope now that people know what to do. You hope now that people know what to do. Keep the mask on if you can. Obviously, you can't put the mask on when you're swimming in the water, but keep the mask on if you can. Keep your social distancing. Anyway, okay, let's move on, everybody. I want to welcome